Okay guys, so we have the leaked images out for chapter 270 of Black Clover, which will be out this Sunday officially on the Shonen Jump app around like 11, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. At least that's how it is for me. Anyway, getting into the actual leaks, which I was actually very surprised that we got for this week because of the fact that when we got the leaks for chapter 268, due to the fact that the people who posted the leaks on Twitter used the Japanese hashtag and spoiled it for a lot of Japanese fans, they got very upset about that. And due to the fact that that happened, we didn't get the leaks for last week's chapter. So I was a little bit worried that we wouldn't get them this week, but thankfully we did, because this was an amazing chapter, although it has pretty much, or actually no action whatsoever, unlike last week's chapter, which was an amazing fight sequence between Asta and Lieb. This chapter is literally just all dialogue, just, the two of them kind of talking things out. But still, the chapter was amazing. We got some big reveals, some big, not revelation, but some big plot points moving forward, and I cannot wait to talk about the things we see from these images. Now, real quick before I actually get into them though, I do want to mention that I am still under the effects of the copyright strike I got for the leaked video I did on chapter 266, I believe it was. But anyway, because of that, I won't have any of the images up on the screen. I'm going to try to, I know I say I will for each video, but I'm going to try to remember to post a link in the description down below to the images that I see on the screen right now. And you guys can basically just go along with me as I'm talking about them and observe them for yourself. But yeah, this video is not going to have any leaked images on it. It's just going to be my face cam. We're going to do a quick cutaway to the basic summary of the chapter. That's going to be pretty much the only thing you see on the screen. But other than that, it's pretty much just going to be me. Anyway, getting into the actual leaks for this week's chapter. Sorry, I got distracted for a second there. I don't think I actually put it in the image that you guys are going to be seeing on the screen, but on the Reddit page where I found this leaks, quick ad they have on the side. Apparently, CBS All Access is going to have the complete saga of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, which surprised the hell out of me seeing this, because one, it wasn't there when I originally saw this image, or originally saw the leaks, and two, I didn't know that Nickelodeon was letting them have access to that. Kind of cool. Too bad I already have Netflix, so I won't be watching it there. Anyway, getting into the actual summaries for this week's chapter. Alright, so we got the first one, the first bullet point starting off. Asta's victory puts a chain around Lieb's neck. Now, I had already heard about this going into this week, that this was going to end up happening to Lieb. And it makes sense because if you remember, the ritual that Nock put them in, that summoned Lieb and basically let them fight it out, was a ritual that was basically supposed to put the demon or the devil that Asta was going to be contracted to in a master-servant contract, with Asta, as long as he won the fight, being the master and Lieb being the servant. So it makes sense that he would actually end up having a collar on. Now, I wonder, is this collar going to have any kind of like negative effect on Lieb if he ends up basically disobeying Asta? Is it going to like shock him, kind of like a dog, like shock collar? Because I can imagine that any demon that actually has a contract formed on them would just, at the end of the day, end up hating their master, unless they already were kind of close to them and just don't mind having the servant collar on them. But still, I would imagine that if if any of the Dark Tribe members have that over their devils, that if they eventually get free from that, their devils are just going to rain havoc on them. Okay, so on to the next part. Nock, who says this will make him obey all orders just by reminding him to obey. So I guess it actually will have some kind of negative effect on him if he doesn't obey what Asta says. Asta wants to make an equal contract since they have been together for so long. Alright, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we already knew going into this chapter, actually going into this ritual, that Asta didn't want to form a master-servant contract. He wanted to have an equal partnership between him and his devil. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense that Asta would just flat out reject the idea of making Lieb into a servant. Lieb notices that Asta is Lucidia's child. Now, this is interesting. I thought that when we got the flashback in chapter 268, that was because of the fact that he had already recognized the similarities and the connection between Lucidia and Asta, and that basically he'd already figured out that he was her child, and he just didn't care because he was so absorbed by his rage and hatred towards Lucifero that he didn't care that he was fighting against his kind of adopted brother. But that's interesting. I'm wondering how he's going to end up going forward treating Asta. Are they going to have like a better relationship going forward? Is he still going to treat Asta kind of like like the kid he makes fun of? Is he going to try to continue taking over Asta's body later on after they defeat Lucifero? This is interesting. Both Lieb and Asta form a mutual contract, alright? So this is cool. We finally get the two of them working together, kind of like a Kurama and Naruto's thing going on. Digging that. Asta gets his arm back. Still corrupted though. Oh, alright, so that's kind of interesting. I was imagining that once the two of them kind of formed a full-on like 50-50 contract, that Asa's arm would end up going back to normal. I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the aesthetic of Asa having that, very black, kind of like corrupted arm. It is very badass looking. I would continue to see it. I would like to continue seeing it on Asa. But I'm imagining that at some point, the arm has to go back to normal. I mean, because if Weeb's not trying to control Asa's body anymore, then there's no reason for him to have control over that arm. Nox says a couple words. Unfortunately, I can't seem to translate them. Alright, so that's unfortunate. We get some dialogue from Nock in this chapter that couldn't be translated by the person who gave the summary. Nock does say that the real training begins and combines with one of his devils. Ooh, now this is interesting. This is real interesting. Finding out that Nock actually has multiple devils. I mean, we already knew that he has multiple devils, but we were still arguing over the fact of, is this just one devil that can turn into different forms? Or is this 4 different devils? I guess we're going to end up finding out in this chapter officially. RT. I wonder what that RT means. Anyway, Noct. This is where your training, as you call it, comes into play. You two are going to have to beat me together. And that's where the chapter ends. Okay, so that's cool. So we're going to end up seeing Nock and Nock going up against Asta and Lieb. I'm wondering how Nock's not transformation. I wonder how his powers work when he's with his devil, because we don't actually know what his devil can do just yet. We just know that his devil has different forms from night to day. So I wonder what his abilities are. Oh, this is cool. We got Tabata's offer comment for this week. We received a present from a fan for Luck's birthday. I didn't know Luck's birthday passed. That's kind of cool to find out. Thank you so much for every year. Is he saying that this person sends Luck a gift every year? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Luck is a fan favorite character. A lot of people like him. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is at least one fan out there who would send a gift every year on his birthday. Oh, and then we had the final little bit of dialogue, or a little bit of comment from the person who gave us a summary. That's all there is so far. Also, very weird that we have the cover page, but no color page or lead color page. Oh, so we're getting the cover page for Shonen Jump this week, but we're not getting any color pages. That is a little weird, but I mean, considering the fact that we had so many colored cover pages, kinda in a row, not really in a row, but kind of like separated by 2 or 3 chapters, that it makes sense that we wouldn't get another one this soon. On a side note, Nock really showing off with his design, especially since he now looks like a Bloodborne character. Okay, I was gonna get into this later, but from one of the images I did manage to see, I haven't seen all the images just yet. I actually wanted to go over that with you guys live, kind of give my live reaction to seeing what exactly we're going to be getting for this chapter. But one of the images I did see when I found out that the leaks were out was that we get to see Nock's dark form, and it looks very much like a Bloodborne character. Like, it looks just like the Hunter from the cover of the Bloodborne disc. That was really cool to see. Okay guys, so that is it for the summary for this week's chapter. Now let's get into the actual images. Like I said, I'm not going to have any of the images actually on the screen. I am going to be going over them live, or actually looking at them live, so you guys can get my actual reaction to seeing these images. But, like I said, I'm going to try to have the link in the description down below, so hopefully you guys can follow along with me as I'm going through them. If not, they're very easy to find. Literally the only way I find these spoilers and these leaks each chapter or each week is basically just by doing a quick Google search, put in Black Clover chapter or whatever this week's chapter is, and then put leaks after that, and I find them very easily, so I'm sure you can too. But anyway, let's just jump right over into the actual leaked images. Let me just scroll over to them real quick. Okay, alright, so this is cool. So the first image we get, very big on the page, we get an image of Lieb getting his collar put on him. Now, you can see on the collar, I think that's demonic. I have to go back and look at Asa's Grimoire real quick. I know that has demonic language in it. But it looks like these are demonic runes being placed on the collar. And that would make a lot of sense, since it would have to have some kind of like curse or effect on him. I guess it's kind of like the magic of, or these runes are kind of like what activate the magic that would affect him if he disobeys Asta. We see also that these chains come off the collar and kind of just like force him onto the ground to kneel in front of Asta. That's kind of cool. I mean, it looks like he has a lot of pressure on him right now. We see Noct and Asta talk, and I guess this is where Noct basically tells Asta that this collar will make him obey him. Alright, so this is the image I actually saw ahead of time. We get the image of Noct in his dark form, like I said, looking very much like the Hunter from Bloodborne. Very cool design. Cannot wait to see exactly what he can do in action with this. Alright, so I guess this is the scene right after Lieb gets his collar put on him. The next image, the third image we get. And we can see that Asta is talking to Lieb and Noct, and I guess this is where he tells Noct that he doesn't want to have, master servant contract with Lieb. From that final image of Noct on the chapter or on that page, it does not look like he's happy about that. He looks very, very upset by the fact that Asta is saying that he doesn't want to form a master servant contract. And you can tell that he's upset because of the fact that he actually has his eyes open. Alright, so going on to the next image, we see Asta extending his hand out to Lieb. I guess this is where he tells Lieb that he actually wants to have like a formal 50-50 contract with him. Interesting enough, Lieb doesn't have his collar on. I wonder if does Asta find a way to take it off of him? Or is this just that Tabata forgot to draw it? Alright, yeah, cool image. We see again Asta, I guess this is before the last image. We see Asta still talking to Lieb. I guess he's trying to convince him not to, or trying to convince him to actually form an actual 50-50 contract with him, so that he wanted to be his servant. This is actually kind of interesting. In the top left image, or the top left panel, we actually see that it looks like the chain, or at least one of the chains on Lieb's collar is actually disintegrating. So I guess this is Asta kind of formally rejecting the idea of having a contract or having like a master servant contract with him. And it does kind of look like it's a little hard to tell, but it does kind of look like the collar is disappearing little by little as we go on that page. Now this is very hype. Alright, so we go to the next page, and ignoring the first two panels, we get the middle panel, which is actually the important one. We see officially that Noct has 4 fucking devils. Alright, so we have Gilmadero, we already knew about him. And then we see 3 other ones. And one that looks like a chicken or some kind of bird. One that kind of looks like a cat. I'm not exactly sure. Again, whatever the fuck Gilmadero is supposed to be. And then one that kind of looks like a hippo, I want to say. I don't know. I can't really tell exactly what animals besides the bird that these demons are supposed to be. But this is official confirmation that we have Noct has 4 fucking devils. Not just 1, 4. Now, what's interesting is we've never seen, even though we've only had 3 so far, or 4 prior to Noct, but we've never seen a devil possessed be contracted to 4 separate devils or even multiple devils at all. So, this is going to be interesting. This is a brand new territory that we're in. I'm wondering how this is going to affect his body, or can he use all 4 at the same time? That would be hyped as hell if we see at some point Noct using all 4 devils at the same time in some kind of like dark form that's very different from the Bloodborne form that we see him have earlier on from the leaks. Okay, alright, so getting into the next image, I'm sorry, I'm just very excited by finding out the fact that Noct has 4, or officially find out that Noct actually does have 4 devils. Alright, so getting onto the next page, looks like this is where we see that Lieb officially finds out that Asta is Lucida's child. Again, I thought he had already knew that, but I guess he hadn't kind of connected the dots just yet. But it's nice that he's actually finally doing it. We get these nice images of Lucida and Asta basically having the same pose. And I mean, yeah, the two of them look pretty much the same. Which is now making me wonder, what does Asta's dad look like? If he gets all his looks and his personality from his mom, I'm wondering what his dad looks like. Okay, so we get the next image. We see the two of them shaking hands, and it looks like this kind of like circle, these runes going on both their wrists. Alright, it's kind of interesting. I guess this is basically just the contract between the two of them. We see Asta gets his arm back, which we already knew, still corrupted. Kind of cool. We see Noct, looks like he's walking into the ritual circle. Oh, now this is interesting. I figured that as soon as the two of them made a contract and Asta got his arm back, that Lee would just disappear. But it looks like he's still hanging around for right now. Again, we see the two of them forming their contract. You know, the two of them shaking hands. Guess this is when they kind of like, or when Lee actually finally does grab Asta's hand and kind of like, I don't know, just decides that yeah, we're gonna work together. Okay, and then the final image we have is a better quality image of Noct transforming into his dark form, and we see Asta in the top left panel with Lee. Asta looks very shocked by seeing that Noct has a dark form. I don't know why he should know that he has one. I mean, he already fought Dante, who was another devil possessed, and he saw that he had a dark form. So I don't know. I'm surprised that he would be this shocked seeing it, or maybe he's just shocked by how it looks. Lee doesn't look impressed at all. So yeah. And I guess it's just where Nox basically tells Asta that the two of them are gonna have to fight him. So yeah, that's pretty much where the chapter looks like it's gonna end. I do want to mention that this bottom right panel, or this bottom left panel, it looks like Noct is very pissed off still. I mean, we can see his eye open, so doesn't look like he's having a good time. And it looks like he is very angry at the fact that Asta decided to do a 50-50 contract beside instead of a master servant one. So I'm wondering how that's going to end up affecting the training going forward. Okay guys, so that's pretty much all the images that we get. I mean, there are some more images, but they're basically just the same ones with translated dialogue. I don't actually want to go into those because I just don't feel like it right now. But anyway, that is it for the images. That is it for the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this chapter. I am very, very excited to read this week's chapter. And I'm even more excited. This is more for next week's chapter than it is this week's. But I am really now excited to see exactly what Noct can do in his dark form. I mean, like, what kind of abilities does he have? What kind of, like, powers does his devil have? And now that we know that he has 4 different devils, does he have a different dark form for each devil? Is there a way that he can basically combine them all into one dark form? I'm excited to find that out, especially that last part, because if he can basically have all 4 of them form into one dark form, does that change his appearance? And does this mean that he's actually going to be training Asta in, like, certain levels? I mean, over the next 2 days, we know he's going to be training Asta to defeat him. But as we know, Noct is vastly weaker than Lucifero. So what I'm thinking is maybe he's going to have Asta defeat his first form. Like maybe he's going to have Asta defeat him when he's in his dark form that's connected to 1 devil. Then after he defeats that, go on to 2 devils, then 3, and then finally his most powerful form, which would be 4 devils combined to his dark form. So I am excited to see exactly how this training goes down. But anyway, like I said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about the chapter. Are you excited to see that Asta and Leap are finally forming a formal contract, that the two of them are finally working together? And are you excited to see exactly how this ends up affecting their relationship? I'm guessing that Leap is still going to be, now that he knows that him and Asta are kind of like, you know, adopted brothers, I'm assuming that he's going to have the same relationship that Asta has with Yuno, where even though Leap is going to continue making fun of Asta and, you know, picking and jabbing at him, anytime that Asta's in a dangerous situation, Leap's going to be the first one to jump in his defense. So yeah, I'm actually excited to see the relationship between the two of them go forward. But that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.